No, we're recording right here. Some mousy mouse in case you need it. Let me know when it's officially on the show. Yeah. Yeah. I did that on a, yeah, too tall one. Yeah, I heard that from the mountain women. Only one time. So I remember on a Friday night, working at the Hill, we had gone out and then I had gotten a big cut down my hand in the middle of line service. And it was, I still got, it's actually the scar right there. And yeah, it was bleeding everywhere. So we washed up, we did our thing, and the next we're sitting there and trying to clean it up. Thankfully, I have a washing station like right beside my station. And so you're constantly going there trying to wash your hands, put on new gloves. Eventually, like the guy beside me got tired of me leaving the line. So he literally just like got my hand double gloved, then got brown tape and like wrapped it like super tight, like choking off my hand. And then yeah, and then that made a whole nother escapade because then I had to put gloves on top of that. I ended up putting like the sleeve almost on. Those are the because I chopped the parsley and stuff on it. Uh, it's fine. Gotcha. Gotcha. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. What's our time? 1 minute? No, my minute done. We're gonna put you down chicken first, anyways. No, might not have anybody join us. I don't know. Might just be me and you hanging out today. That's still fun. That's the way it goes sometimes. The way it goes. Are we there? It's all good. We're gonna get started. We ready? What's going on, team? It is live at 5. It is Sunday, 5 o'clock, our favorite time where we get to cook together, hang out, ask questions about any cooking things. We are super excited that you are here and we're going to get started because we actually got quite a bit to do today. This is not the simplest dish, but it's a very delicious dish. So, first things first, I got my oven set on 450 degrees behind me. We're gonna go ahead and start getting that heated up. Next, we're gonna start getting our potatoes. All right, let's start peeling some potatoes. I like nice, smooth potatoes. So I'm going to take as much of this peel off as possible. This must have been the bottom of the barrel. Potatoes. First one's kind of, you can tell it's a little aged. It's not bad, just aged. So if you've got a chance, chat, make sure that you pop in there. There is a poll there. If you are watching the video actually on a later date, no worries. There's a poll there for you guys to vote on what our next episode is going to be. So you have shrimp and grits, tailgating for champions, and charcuterie board masters. Kind of the top three items that kind of trending right now. So please make sure you leave your vote down below. On Mondays, you're going to start getting your ingredients list. So we'll have our email list going out. So you'll be able to find all the ingredients. You'll be able to find them on that same list on YouTube. Look, I probably should have pre-prepped a few of these, but it's fine. It's all good. This is our really our first ever like live. We recorded last week as a dry run. Maybe I should have learned a little bit more last week. So just a couple more. So lots of restaurant news going on out there. The you've got everybody's upset with Cracker Barrel. I got my wife over here being our moderator in the chat room. Chat, what's has anybody got any opinions on that? Mary, have you got an opinion on that? Change is hard. It really is. I'm kind of torn on it. You know, you grow up in a restaurant like that that's been the same way since you were a little kid. But at the same time, all things got to change at some point. Demographics change. It's business, right? As a chef, we're constantly adapting. Restaurants have got to do the same. There's one more hiding in the bottom down there. I thought I was done. So I'm going to get these working behind me once we slice and cut these up. Get all these rounded up, nice and tight here. Do you know where these go? This goes to the pigs. Because as the children's book for my kids says, pigs love potatoes. I don't know if that's true or not. They seem to like them. All right, so let's get these potatoes cut real quick. Again, our goal is that we got we're not Rachel Ray, but we're wanting our dishes to be done in about 30 minutes. So I'm going to cut these into a little bit smaller cubes so we can speed that process up. We do have some really cool episodes coming up. One is a giveaway. We're giving away hot sauces. If you help us name our newest hot sauce, we made a crazy hot sauce that is, I'll be honest with you, it is 100% the hottest hot sauce I think I've ever made. Probably one of the hottest I've ever tasted. It has ghost peppers, it has cayennes, it has Tabascos. We snuck per 2 gallons. There is one Carolina Reaper in there, and it packs a mean punch. But I mean flavor pack though, it really is flavor pack. All right, so we got our potatoes right here. Nice and easy. If I can make it. Nope, I wasn't that talented. Nope, heard. All right. Potatoes in. We're just gonna bump these on high back behind me. We're gonna have those working. Now kind of comes the fun part here. Oh, I'm getting out of turn here. While we're working up front, mashed potatoes need fat and creaminess, right? All that potatoes and starch. So we got to build up that layer. So we're going to take our milk, I like to use heavy cream as well. Today, we're going to keep it generally healthier. I prefer heavy cream. When in doubt, add the fat. We're going to add all of our butter. We're going to save about 5 or 6 tablespoons off to the side, though. We're going to add our salt and pepper to this. We're going to put this on behind us as well. Not on the low, though. I don't want to scorch that cream. I'm really just wanting to melt that out. As soon as I see that that is done, I'm just going to turn it off, let it sit over there. Super simple. All right. So let's start. No. So now we got our delicious chicken here. Now, let me do this so I don't get chicken juices everywhere. Being nice and good with my sanitation. Now, this is our chicken. It's going to have little bits on it. We need to make sure we take care of a couple things first, right? So, first things first, let's get that little bad boy out of there. Any extra skins need to come off. And then I always look at here. So we got head. Sometimes that kind of, or the neck kind of pulls right off. All that's good for chicken stock. Don't feel like that's going to waste. Now, we're focusing specifically today on a French style chicken breast. So when we do this, don't think that we are wasting the rest of the chicken. If you've not had a chance yet, check out the fried chicken episode. It'll help you use up all these little bits. But today we're focusing on a French style chicken breast. So that is the breast up to here and then up to this nub. So we need to extract the breast off from here. First, I'm going to remove some thighs and just kind of do just a little bit of butcher work. Again, heard that nice little pop. Sit nice and easy. Pop it again. Butchering meat is more about just finding those joints and working with those joints more than anything else. All right, now we're up to these breasts right here. I'm going to cut right here. Again, these nice, delicious chicken wings, that goes to stock. No part of this chicken's going to go to waste. You go right there at that joint. There we go. All right, now it's time to get the actual chicken breast out of here. So I'm going to go right up the top. And then we're going to start working our way down the bone. So we're making a cut. And then we're just working ourselves right against that bone all the way down. And then you see right there where it attaches in. I'm going to break it right there. Oop, one little piece right there is struggling. There we go. All right, one down. Give me some. Uh, yeah, yeah. I don't know how you plan on doing that. You got me?
Yeah, I
It's not
got
going to
you.
fall over?
No,
Okay.
I got you.
All right.
That way they can see exactly how you do it.
All right. Again, just kind of cutting right down that bone line, following that rib cage. And find exactly where that joint meets and make a cut. All right. And again, all of this, no worries. It's going to go right over to making chicken stock. We're actually working on a culinary basics episode. I'm actually pretty hype on that. All right. Now we could, in theory, leave it, just even that up. We could, in theory, leave it like this. A lot of restaurants do that, but it's really not technically correct. We're going to really bone down this. Thing with this is there is a vein. There it is. There's a vein that runs through here. And if we're not careful, that vein is going to leave like a bloody mark right here. It's not that it's not cooked. You kind of see it a little bit right there. Most of the blood's been drained out of this one really well. But that ultimately, a lot of people think, though, that the chicken's not cooked through because that blood kind of seeps out of there, especially if the chicken's been frozen. Forgot to take off the tenderloin. One delicious tenderloin there. One delicious tenderloin there. Right. To this other one. Again, just kind of watch your fingers. I'll admit I'm a little hazardous with this. So used to doing it. You know, I had to do this for 200 people one time, and I had a bunch of other chefs with me. I think everybody was just kind of looking at me funny when I got them all done in, 20, 30 minutes. All right, so my big knife. Where'd you go, big knife? Either way, I got this big cleaver. Thank you. Thank you, assistant. All right. What I'm gonna do is get the big thick butt of my knife, whether that's my chef's knife. I'm gonna put it down there over the end where all that meat's globbed up to, push down to. No, it's all good. Ooh, there we go. I still want to finna fall, all right. So we find the big part and just drop it down. And then that right there is properly done. French, you can come in here and clean it up just a tad bit more, maybe. But that's pretty much spot on right there. Again, that goes over to the chicken stock pile. And same thing. Put it on a little bit of an angle. Find your sweet spot. Put it on the keel of the knife. Drop it down. All right. And there we go. So we got our start heating up our pan real quick while this is sitting. A lot of times in restaurants, we will uh, not necessarily let it get to room temperature, but we'll kind of pull these in advance by a couple of minutes. That allows us to um, kind of temper the meat a little bit so it cooks evenly. What happens is if this thing is super crazy ice cold, the outside is going to want to be dry and the very centers are going to be still be raw. So while we're kind of allowing this to temper while this is heating up, we're going to get them seasoned up. Here we go. Let's do the undersides first. Go. Same thing on this side. Nice and seasoned up. Now we wanting to take this pan to near smoke point. So we're going to let it sit here just for a second. We're going to turn around though and check on this. Some good timing because we're getting nice and bubbled up there. So we're going to let that sit. Check our potatoes. They're starting to boil. Fantastic. We're actually We're doing good. We're ahead of schedule, man. There's nothing better than being ahead of schedule as a chef. All right. Do just a little bit of hot oil. Swirl that around just for a minute. So this is kind of where that oven's going to come into play. All right. We put our oil in too early, we risk basically burning that oil. So we kind of want to hold that off to the last second. And that right there, that's the sound of money right there. Give that a second. We'll jiggle. Give it a moment to recover before we add in the second one. That way we don't completely shock the pan. Remove all of the hit off of that heat. If we're not careful, we'll end up steaming it. We won't get a super crispy skin. That crispy skin is like the most important part of this whole dish. We want super crispy skins. We're going to start by searing those skin down, and then we're going to leave them skin down for through this entire process. Let's get our raw chicken out of our way. Mary, have you got any questions so far? Any questions in chat? All right.
While you did those more technical
I
details,
appreciate that.
the light falling, it was really
All right. We're going to continue to let this. Again, we're not really wanting to bother this much. We just want to keep an eye on it and make sure that we're not searing, burning it. So we want to get this as rendered as possible. You know, up underneath that outside layer of skin, there's a whole layer of fat that's up underneath that skin. We really need to render that out. Take a sneak peek. Oh, looking delicious. Sneak peek, sneak peek. Oh, looking delicious. We're going to keep let that roll. So let's talk about our gravy super quick. There's a couple of different things. I know we have one viewer that is allergic to mushrooms, so I did want to address that. If you're not doing mushrooms, instead of using mushrooms, you could sub out for peppers, onions, garlic, and rosemary, maybe a little drop of lemon. And we call that when I do this dish at home in Georgia, that's typically everybody knows that's Jonathan's. We call it airline chicken. This style of chicken in general, if you see the word airline, this is what it refers to. What happens to is as that's cooking, that bone is going to quite literally extend out. It's really going to look like an air wing as it bends over. But through this process, though, you could easily, though, instead of mushrooms, do get peppers, onions, garlic, a little bit of rosemary. Just be careful on that rosemary. A little bit of rosemary goes a long way. Let's talk about the mushrooms that I've got. I've got shiitakes, buttons, some chanterelles. Got a nice mix of mushrooms. I had a little bit more, but the problem with mushrooms is that they tend to not last in our fridge. Here in general Mississippi, it's super humid. It's not as great for the shelf life of these, even in your fridge. All right, so real quick before I go on to that conversation, see how we got looking up underneath there, looking nice and delicious. Got that one, nice and delicious. I'm gonna pop this down in the oven. All right, give that just a minute to kind of chill. But some key notes there, though, for your mushrooms. If you were to use like portobellos are great, but portobellos, you kind of see it on this button. You've got that. I forget what you call it on the bottom side of the mushrooms. That tends to collect a lot of dirt. So especially those big mushroom caps like portobellos. we do training with our kitchen staff inside the restaurants. That's one of the things that we do. We had a cook that was not doing that, and they were making jerk mushrooms, and they were delicious as far as the flavor goes, but they were covered in grit. So when you're using something like portobello's, make sure you scrape out all that black underside. It really, really, really helps the texture and flavor of everything. It also helps it from tasting so muddy. Mushrooms should be a very clean taste. It shouldn't really have this overly muddy, earthy taste that sometimes they get the reputation for. Check on our potatoes behind me. Still working hard. Give us a wipe down. Let's not look too messy around here, right? So that's going to be down. The chicken's going to be down in the oven though for probably the next 8 minutes. Again, 8 minutes or 165 degrees. So let's talk about the rest of our ingredients because we do got when this chicken comes out, we're going to be really focused in on the gravy. So it'll be these mushrooms. You could add shallots if you wanted to. I don't tend to do that. I like to keep it pure with just the mushrooms. And then we're going to hit it with chicken stock and beef stock, reduce that down, and then add a bunch of chopped herbs that are going to really, really enhance the flavor of it. And then just to add in the lusciousness, the fattiness, we're going to whisk in whole cubed butter to give it that mouthfeel that we're looking for. I am going to turn this fan though. Starting to smoke up the house just a little bit. That's the sign of flavor, if you ask me. My wife and kids might say otherwise. So if you haven't had a chance yet, or have not been following on social media, I'm super excited to announce that I will be on Hell's Kitchen season 24. That is launching here. It's launching on Fox on September 25th. I'm super excited about it. It's Battle of the 50 States. If you've not been watching the last couple of seasons, don't worry. But I promise you, the talent that's on this season is over the top. And there's really, I've never felt at any point in time I feel super confident cooking with anybody. The challenges and everything. We do that kind of stuff around our house as fun with the kids. And so to be able to do that and do that against really, really talented chefs, it was a lot of fun. But at no point in time did I feel like I was just going to run away with it. The talent that's on this season is amazing. It's going to be highly competitive. I cannot brag enough on the talent that is on this season. So if you've not been watching in a minute, maybe you've been kind of taking a break, make sure you check in. That's September 25th. That's the season premiere. We're actually going to be up live watching Hell's Kitchen in Hell's Kitchen. That's going to be absolutely wild. And I really, really hope to see everybody watching in. We'll be doing our reactions and talking about, you'll be able to ask questions on these live episodes on Sunday afternoon. So if you see something from the episode on Thursday, that Sunday after, you can ask questions about it. I can answer what I'm allowed to answer about it. And we could be candid, but there's always some things that are I don't want any spoilers, right? That just ruins it for everybody. So let's talk about some tools. Let's talk about some tools that we're going to need here to help finish up these mashed potatoes. So I'm going to use, of course, a nice big round bowl that's going to help me out. Don't be too alarmed by this one. This is like my great grandparents' potato ricer. I love this potato ricer. Yes, I know I need a new one. Yes, I know that it's looking janky, but this is like has been the potato ricer in my family for like 50 years. And that sounds really ridiculous, but it's true. And I absolutely love one of these, though. It really helps you bring in the right texture of what you're looking for in your potatoes. So if you're looking at making even like hash browns and some things like that, where you're looking for a really creamy texture, that is the route to go. And then we're going to need a nice rubber spatula. This one, we're still rocking Christmas around here. we're not we're not season based. We're just we just rock it year round, right? We're clearance right. It's the way it's got to be. It's sad when the economy even affects kitchen utensils.
Those are
Yeah, we've had this one a minute. My favorite ones are we actually got a local guy that makes this one, and then this one right here. This was actually made out of a church pew here locally. There's a guy here in Mississippi that makes these super cool, and especially when you're doing that task where you gotta like scrape the bottom. It's just got all that. It's got that perfect little edge to it. Did have more edge to it, but we you know we use them hard here though. Ah, yeah, we've had that one for that means we've had it for about 4 years. Yeah, no, we moved here 6 years ago at this point. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that says a lot. The way we go through kitchen equipment here. So I have a um my middle son. His entire world is about being a chef, and that's like his thing. That's the way he plays. And so like he and I have this thing where like we have a love hate relationship with small wares and utensils and stuff because anything that I buy will end up in his play set at some point in time. So it gets pretty abused around here. All right. Potatoes done yet? They are done. Now we need to be super careful on this, obviously. We don't want to burn ourselves. I do like this one because it's got that nice lid to it where all I got to do is we're going to strain this really, really well. Now that my arm has gotten a nice, wonderful sauna. Yeah. Whoop. Grab a hot hand there. That chicken smells absolutely amazing. All right, so what we're going to do is get our potatoes and so we'll scoop them into here, load them up into the little chamber, and then just push them through. If your potatoes aren't done enough, they're not going to go through. You're just going to work your forearms until they fall off. I feel like I'm at the sauna though. There we go. Can you feel my pores opening right up? Yeah, to me, don't get through there, Mr. Lump. Get back up here. This is what makes good potatoes to me. I know, country styles, you just kind of mash them up, even with skins on. But to me, this is like luxurious potatoes. I know somebody went out of their way to make it perfect when it's that perfect texture. All right, last hit. What'll also happen though is all your skins and all your things like that kind of get up in that little they can't go through the mesh. Kind of acts as like a little strainer if you have a little bit of skin left, which I got a little bit right there. So no biggie. All right, so let's set this off to the side, out of our way. Clean up our mess. As you know, chefs, you know how we are. We love making messes. Don't like to clean them. Check our chicken and see where it's at. All right. Chicken is probably 2 or 3 minutes out. We're gonna check our bottoms right. Look how crispy that is. That is crazy. Perfect right there. So in the meantime, let's get back to our mashed potatoes. We're gonna mix up our mix here just so it's even. Again, I like to add mine in just a little bit at a time. You could build up that texture that you like. Build in some salt and pepper. Kind of push that around. In restaurants, we would put this into like the actual like large mixer and mix this. The key is though to do it a little bit at a time because this is going to set here in just a minute. By the time that we actually go to cook, the starch is going to settle in. But if you're eating this right away, this might be even a little too smooth for some folks. Again, that's why it's important to add in a little bit at a time. But we do not want to overwork it. It'll get very gummy. Just kind of have a bad texture. I can tell you now I need more salt and pepper. All right. Let's grab a spoon here. Let's give it a taste. I think it's going to be pretty spot on. Worried a little bit, it might need a little bit more salt. Crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. Again, nice smooth texture. This is going to tighten up just a little bit as it sits off to the side. We still got to finish our gravy and all of our stuff. So what I'm going to do, set this over here on the heat. Now let's grab that piece of chicken out and let's start working our chicken and moving that gravy. Whew. Now, obviously, this is a scorching hot pan. So please make sure that you're being super cautious on this. Don't just be free yanking at this thing. It does take, chefs, we like towels for this reason. A lot of times, those Susie homemaker mitts, they're not made for 450-degree items. So please get you a nice terry towel, good little chef towel, will go a long way. I'm gonna bring this over to here. All right, I'm gonna put this on the table to rest. Look at how crispy that skin is. That is absolutely on point. Now, we don't want to lose this heat. We need to add in our mushrooms. Again, this is the point where you would add in your peppers, onions, garlic, and rosemary if you were following that recipe. What we're going to start doing is just building up this flavor. We really want to caramelize these. I'm going to bring this over, just kind of glide this into the center just so it's the focus. And again, your tendency is going to want to grab that handle to do what we're doing. So please. I feel like I'm going to do it because I almost did it right there. But we really want to make sure that we're not grabbing this handle. We're going to start to add a little bit of color to it. A little toss. Whoop, put back in there. I love the blend of mushrooms. It adds a couple different textures to it. And mushrooms, we don't really think about it, but different mushrooms really do have slightly different flavors. So again, different ones are earthier than others. Some have a little bit more cleaner flavor. By having that mix, we kind of really have a well balanced mushrooms. All right, while that's working, I'm going to add just a little bit of garlic. This is like the largest garlic bulb I've ever seen in my life. Shout out to Whole Foods. I'm only going to take a couple little hits off of it though. I'm going to do some nice thin slices. And then run it through with the knife one more time. All right, and we can kind of start stop that way. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be cooking this down anyways. But we do want to get it slightly chopped down. Boom. Now, see how we have started to caramelize the mushrooms? Also, notice that we have removed the fronds off of the bottom of the pan. That is perfect. We're going to add in our garlic. Go. We're going to be sweating that for a couple seconds. Ooh, it's getting very fragrant, very delicious. So we want to make sure that we give that garlic a nice chance to cook, add a little caramelization on it as well. All right. Next thing, so to add, we need to add some acidity to mushrooms. And again, we're going to be adding butter and all this fat here in a minute. So we really need to cut that with some acid. We're going to add just a little swig of aged sherry vinegar. Again, we don't want to go too hardcore on it. Just one little quick bit around the edge. Again, we're bringing off more of that fond off the bottom of the pan. Now we're going to add in our chicken stock and our beef stock. Now we're just going to be letting this go on full blast at this point. Go. Do that. Change up my towels here. Boy, chef ain't being janky. We got any questions in the chat? All right. Really want to open up this first one. We're going to let it sit for just a second longer. Just a second longer. What happens in meat, again, we don't want to cut right into that. What's going to happen is all that juice is going to run out. Overall, notice that all that juice is really kind of sticking right there on it. You really want to leave it that way. This is the hardest part. My potatoes are ready. The chicken's done. I really want to eat right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm hungry. Are you hungry? I don't know if y'all are hungry, but the food in here is absolutely smelling on point. So we do have, so on deck, we do have some whole butter, and I got some fine chopped herbs. So inside of my fine chopped herbs, I would just is parsley, thyme, chives, and I mean like a tiny, like one little couple leaves of rosemary. I mean just a little bit, and then I do have just a couple drops of sage. We have a nice, beautiful herb garden right outside the on the back deck that we were able to pull from. Now the sun is starting to kick its butt. are finally getting that far into the summer season where the garden's kind of getting pretty beat up between the Mississippi heat and the pigs who keep escaping. It's really kind of been a rough year on our poor garden. So give me just a minute. I'm gonna grab our plate to use. Because realizing that's something that I have not grabbed yet. So let me snag that. 2 plates. I think somebody else is hungry. We will be. Yeah, this is such an easy dish. You could, in theory, sear off the chicken thighs and the leg quarters. I would separate them out if I was going to do it that way and roast them off and have those as well. But really look at, we talked about how it folds over. And again, I feel like you could see how that could be called an airline chicken is what a lot of restaurants might call it. So we're wanting to reduce this down until it really thickens up, which this is going to take a minute. So we're going to sit here and chat and answer any questions. I think we probably need to do a farm tour at some point. There's not much to the farm right now. It's kind of in a little bit of that season gap, but we're kind of in between that summer rolling into fall. So we got a lot of things that are kind of in limbo around the farm. Like we got pig, the pigs are going to be hitting the freezer. We do have some really cool videos coming up from pigs in the past that we've butchered. So we've got bacons that we need to be making. We're finally out of our sausage, and I've got lots of meat in the freezers that need to be sausage. Yes.
Great ways to cook.
Yeah. Yeah. Lamb risotto is one of my favorites. So we use almost every part of the lamb. I mean, we really don't lose a lot. We're big on making our own stocks, so we'll have lamb stock that we use. I mean, we even smoked the rib cages last year and got wasn't a lot, but we were able to make like almost like a rillette where you pull that meat and pulled the meat after we smoked it, and then we stewed it until it's almost like a mixed meat, and then we were able to kind of put it on crackers and eat it that way. It's a lamb is really delicious. Lamb grown on the scale that we do. We only keep about 20 lambs in the field. So we butcher down 5 to 10 each year, and then we constantly have another 5 to 10 being born. So we kind of got a good rotation going on. He wanted to touch that. You see me almost grabbing it, right? I told you I was going to touch it. Told you I was going to touch it. But we've got peppers, peppers, peppers. While we're waiting, this is one of our pepper batches that we're actually processing this afternoon. And as you see it fizzy, a little fizzy boobile popping, the fizzy boobile popping up. It's nice and beautifully fermented. But you see all that? That's truffles. We're making a truffle hot sauce. This is by far the most expensive container of hot sauce I've ever made. I have easily probably $200 in truffles in here, and it's going to make the craziest hot sauce ever. I'm really excited about it. You know, really, let's go ahead. The pepper mix in here. The pepper mix in here is we've got cayennes, ghosts, Tabascos. We do have a couple pimentos in there to help with color, and then of course garlic, truffle. That's gonna be yeah, a couple red serranos, and then over here, well, that's continuing to work. This has been one of our workhorses here. This is what we call the green machine, and it's kind of like our forever green blend. It's got everything from serranos, green habaneros, bells, jalapenos. We have a couple green tabascos, like we'll pull them early. So hopefully here soon, you're going to be able to purchase these online. Oh yeah, and banana peppers. This is our first year growing banana peppers. Right. Again, I think this is going to be out of this world good.
Panero is coming back in stock.
The mango habanero, we're actually going to be fermenting this week. It's a hard one to line up because you've got to be able to have organic mangoes that don't have lots of pesticides on it. Pesticides and fermenting don't mix well. So we've got a local, what would you call it? A Hispanic meat market. I know there's a specific carniceria or whatever. They've got them in. We're just waiting for them to be in stock and actually be looking ripe and in the right phase. But that's, again, that's a top seller. Inside of that one's orange habaneros. See, orange habaneros, mangoes. We always put a couple red cayennes in there just to kind of help brighten that color. And then, believe it or not, the coloring agent is not habanero and mangoes. It is actually carrots. We actually ferment a couple of carrots in there to help with that, for help with the color of it and for it to sustain its color. I don't know if I got one right here or not. I don't think I've got any more. That's been our top seller. I only have one. This is the Cajun red that we've been selling. This has been one of our top ones as well. Where ah, and then yeah, this is the last one, the last of the Mohicans. This is peach birria hot sauce. So it's got pasillos, guajillo, chili de arbol, red bells, a couple red habaneros. We didn't have a whole lot, and then we start adding in like cinnamon and clove. There's garlic and tomatoes, and it really, really, it's like having birria in a bottle. And again, it's for me, it's not just a good hot sauce. It's my favorite marinade. Like put this over some grilled chicken, like you get like some boneless chicken thighs, and you marinate it in that and like grill it up really fast. It makes just a really, really good marinade. I've thought about starting to pack it in bulk and sell it by the quart for a little bit more, just for anyone who's like me that wants to do it that way. So again, you'll be able to hopefully see these soon. There's actually going to be a massive giveaway. So the first week in September, you're going to be seeing a video for a hot sauce. We're going to be doing a giveaway. We made a crazy hot sauce. It is the spiciest hot sauce by a long shot that I have ever made, I have ever consumed. But it was the spice level was out of this world, but the flavor profile was probably the best I've ever seen. Again, you really, really rich garlic flavors on it. What's crazy is because of the amount of peppers that are in it. We have, again, cayenne Tabascos, there was red bells, there was red jalapenos, ghost peppers, and then we packed one Carolina Reaper per 2 gallon jar. And because of all those different peppers burn different places of your palate, it meant that your palate is just like soaked in spice in a good way. So a lot of times, like when you're getting like Tabasco or cayenne, you're really only getting the tip of your tongue that's really feeling it. Habaneros are typically the back of the tongue, but because of that mix, you really just kind of get Thor's hammer full of heat. And but it's really good. It makes sense with the dish. It really, I don't know, like I had to eat bread. I was sweating, my lips were on fire. The video, you'll see it, my cheeks are red. But did I taste the second bite? Heck yes. So it's gonna be uh, a video again. I need help naming that hot sauce. So you're going to be able to help me name that. Whoever wins that giveaway, whoever gives me the best name for my bottle of hot sauce while also being subscribed is going to be able to win a 4 pack of hot sauces from me right here off our farm. Again, all these hot sauces are they're all made here. Most of the peppers, minus the um, minus our peppers for the peach birria. As far as the dry chilies, everything else is made in house or here on our farm. And even in that, the peaches come from Georgia, where we're from. So it is a really a full circle uh, product that we're really excited, and we're hoping by Christmas time we're able to start launching and being able to sell online. We're going to start selling at local farmers markets through this fall and winter, and then we will move into hopefully internet sales by beginning of the year. I just want hey to everybody also that's hopping on. The Really excited that people are joining in for us. For those who've missed it, we got a amazing pan-sear chicken breast that's about to be plated up. It's got just a couple more seconds to be heated up. Let me change out my gas here to speed this process up. We run on good old fashioned butane here. Whoop. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now I'm cooking with peanut oil. The link for Yeah, I'll put the link down below. We've had this one for like 6 or 7 years. We've really had this one a good while. This one's just a Coleman, but there's 2 or 3 brands that we trust. There's a couple of electric tops that we use as well. I like the butane. The butane definitely cooks faster than the inductions. I know, the health, not the health nuts, but the environmental nuts, I think would probably love for me to say that the induction ovens work better. But these, look, it's already back to a boil super fast. If I was using that electric burner, that would take another, you know, 10, 15 minutes to reheat back up. I love these though. See how though it's starting to thicken up though? Can't quite tilt it too much. We're gonna still gotta reduce this by just a little bit more. It's really looking good though. So who all we got on the chat? Okay. So again, if you got questions, just make sure to leave them in the descriptions down below. We're going to keep those polls active for this next week as well, so we'll be able to see what you want us to cook next week. That'd be great to have your input. Again, I think we suggested three. Of course, you can always comment another one, but our three suggested ones to pick from in the poll are shrimp and grits, charcuterie, Masters, and then of course tailgating champions because football season's coming up. Really excited about that. That's my favorite time of year. I didn't realize this was going to be the longest process of this. Was the I know, right? I know, right? It's all good. So for our next couple episodes, we are going to be kind of mixing it up again. We're going to be doing this all fall every Sunday, 5 o'clock Central Time. So make sure that you join us here. We're going to have really just here to answer questions, whether that be about food, maybe it's about Hell's Kitchen, get some live reactions of what we saw happen on Thursday during the episode. I'm really excited to finally have our season online. It's been a long process to go from learning that I might be able to be on Hell's Kitchen, which I thought was a scam at first, 100%. I thought it was ISIS trying to steal my stuff. I never in a million years thought that I would ever be contacted to be on that show. Because in chefs, I grew up in that area that I grew up in that era where we watched that show religiously. That show came out while I was in culinary school. So we really kind of grew up in the industry watching that show and the culture of that show. Everybody in the restaurant industry has some moment on that show that they remember, they adore, they really love. At our house, it's the idiot sandwich, with two pieces of bread on the side of the chick's head. What are you? An idiot sandwich, an idiot sandwich chef. That's like our favorite moment, yelling donkey. um, that's one that I've kept in my kitchens. There's nothing better than you know calling somebody a donkey in the kitchen. I've been called a lot worse. All right, still thickening up, but we're getting close. So while we're doing that, I am going to start to plate up a little bit. We might have to wait a second or two. There we go. Check on our potatoes. So, like I said, they have thickened up nicely. They're naturally going to do that as the starch sits there. It's no big deal. So I'm going to take a nice, good round scoop right there on top. Other one right here. This little piece right there. Now comes the moment we've all been waiting for. We're going to cut this chicken. I'm going to take it. I'm going to cut it on a diagonal. Oh, that is crazy juicy. I don't know if the camera's going to do it justice, but it is absolutely on point. I think Chef himself would be super proud of that. Right, just to kind of give you a look at where we're at. Oop, I had dirty thumbs. Silly chef, working with dirty fingers. Just look how glossy that chicken is. I don't know if that angle's going to do it justice or these lights are going to do it justice. That is absolutely spot on. Again, having that sear on that chicken is really going to really, it holds that juice in so well. By doing a proper sear, we're really locking in all of those juices, making sure everything uh, just impacts flavor. Notice that it's cooked all the way through. I am going to sneak that one. And a lot of times, again, when it's not cooked properly, you'll have bloodlines and everything like that. Just notice how everything's cooked through, nice and even. Almost done right here. I start giving it our first taste. There's those spoons at. Let's give it our first taste. Starting to naturally thicken up. Oh yeah, that's how I remembered it. All right, 90 seconds while we finish up. So again, just to give you a reminder, we'll be doing these live every single Wednesday, every single Sunday at 5 o'clock Central Time. We're going to be getting together, cooking off. We're still going to have our weekly cooking videos. We have taken a week or two off just because of some technical issues we were having with YouTube. It's not their fault. We believe that we actually got hacked. Again, maybe I don't know how, where, what's going on, but we have gotten everything back on track. Everything is logging in as it should. We definitely had a struggle for a couple of weeks, but now we got everything back on track. So please, 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 please be on the lookout. If you want to be in the private room while we do one of these cooking videos, we are moving to a new format for these where you'll be able to join and be a part of the actual chat room and be able to ask questions live. You'll be able to do that. So be on the lookout. We're going to be putting out a place to put in your email, and you'll be sent a link via an email to that chat so you can be in the private room. We'll actually be able to hear your voice right here live on the channel. All right, so I'm going to turn this off because we don't want to split this butter. I'm going to let this cool down because we don't want to split this butter. I'm going to let this cool down just for a split second. Go. We got cold butter. We're going to add it in. And we're going to start to swirl that in. We're going to add just a little bit of our chopped herbs. And again, we're just going to start swirling that in. And that's going to start to thicken that up. But again, we don't want it to, we don't want to add in melted butter. That's just going to make it greasy. Oh no, that's looking good. That is perfection. All right, now let's add this on top. Did I save myself my plating spoon? I did not. So I'm a bum. Oh, my trusty sidekick have it for me. Maybe not. That'll work. That's perfect. That'll work. Nah, it's all good. That's my fault. I didn't bring my spoon over here. So we're going to, yeah, I'm going to focus on just the mushroom part. And I'll come back and add some more sauce. Just add that right over the top. Look at that. Super good. And then just for some good color, let's clean up our plate here. Let's add in just a little bit more herbs top. And there we go. And that's it right there. That is our pan-seared French chicken breasts on beautifully whipped mashed potatoes with a mushroom pan gravy. There's only one thing left to do. We got to taste this, right? Let's see what we're tasting. All right. Really looking forward to this bite. I'm starving. I feel like I haven't eaten all day. I have. I'm just a big boy and it feels like I haven't. All right. Super creamy mashed potatoes. You get the crunch of that skin. You start getting the textures of like the mushrooms. It's so good. It's super decadent. Like again, to have it that juicy with that super crispy skin, the sauce finished off with that fat, it just absolutely makes everything work. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. It's an absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to being here every Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Time. Again, you're gonna be able to ask questions, have fun with us. It's just a time to goof off, hang out in the kitchen, and just learn from each other. And we're looking forward to you being here. Thank you so much.